Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is the USMLE Sarthi team, and we are live for this session. I think there was some issue with the streaming, so if you are waiting on another channel, we are just moving here. So I will just wait for you guys to come here, and then we will get started. We are live. So let me first go over a couple of things that we are seeing in the season so that we are clear on the season. There are a couple of questions that we got, and one of the greatest concerns most applicants have is the number of interviews versus the chances of matching. It is causing a panic, especially to the applicants who do not have interviews at this point. So, the questions that we are getting, uh, is this season different? When can I expect the interviews? Uh, what if I have less number of interviews or no interviews? What is a good number of interviews till now? And what should we do next? How to improve the chances in the season? So let me first take the question of, is this season different? So the season is not really different. It is similar to other seasons so far of the past 4, 5, 6 years, including the last one, which was with all in all sense, a different one, but at least not the beginning. So first, let's understand how the interviews are offered. So interviews are offered in phases. This is what you're seeing now is the first phase. It goes on for about a month after the Iraz opens. So Iraz opened this year on 29th of September. So about 31st of October is the first wave. Then the second set of interviews will come between November and December, and then the third between January and may extend till middle of Feb. So, who got the interview in the first wave, or the kind of applicants who are getting the interviews in the first wave, regardless of the specialty? These are the candidates with higher credentials, maybe high scores, research, USCE, recent YOGs, and that's what the programs are trying to do. In fact, visa seeking applicants at this point get equal number of interviews. So, the last data that we pulled, about 56% of our students who needed visa got the interview. So it's not that it's mostly non-visa seeking, it's also visa seeking that are getting the interviews. Most of our students, recent graduates, high scores of 15 plus interviews at this point, visa seeking or not visa seeking. But it's also a fact that many programs are already done. I mean, at least in internal medicine, we have seen programs like Vice Memorial sending out the email that they are done for the season, and that there is no more room left. So that's one thing to be aware of, that there are programs who may be done with the season. So that's one thing to do. Now the second wave will start in November sometimes, and at this point they will go down the pecking order in terms of scores, year of graduations, uh, and all that. So you can expect more interviews in November and December. In fact, most of the IMGs will get interviews in the second wave also. And now the third wave is where it could be the difference. Now, pre COVID, what used to happen was the third wave, when it starts, say December or January, there was a lot of issues for cancellation because it's a weather related issues, travel issues. Travel was expensive, it is still expensive. So a lot of IMGs with 15 plus interviews would cancel the interviews, right? But last season, what we saw, and this season, what we will see, all interviews are virtual. So applicants are unlikely to cancel the interviews. So what will happen is applicants will do more interviews, there will be less cancellations. But on the flip side, the programs are also likely to interview more applicants. So the programs will interview more applicants. You can take it for granted that the rank order list or the number of applicants that the programs will will interview are much more. So as they interview more applicants, the cancellations may be lesser than typical. So that's where you will see the difference. Okay. uh, then the other thing which we do not know yet is the impact of supplemental application. So we don't know how supplemental application will play a role in terms of sending out the interviews or in terms of filtering out the IMGs. However, there's never an evidence that receiving interviews early in the season increases your match probability. We've seen it over the years. There is enough NRMP data that whether you interview now in October or November, or you receive an interview early versus receiving an interview late or interviewing late, that there will be any kind of difference. So that's one thing I want you to be aware of. The second kind of things which people are worried about on Facebook and other channels, they are getting a lot of rejects. So remember, a typical IMG will apply to about 150 minimum, 150 200 programs, and it is expected that you will receive a lot of rejects. I mean, the highest number of interviews typically are between 35, 40. So you will get more than 100 rejects. There's nothing to be worried about. So just keep that in mind. That's the other thing that we got questions on. What are the things you can do to improve your match chances? So one of the things you could do, of course, is continuing the program outreach. We have done various videos. In fact, in our classes, we give out tips and tricks to reach out to the program. So program outreach, the continuous program outreach, is going to be very, very beneficial. And you can email the program, you can tell them what you have improved in your profile and things like that. So that's one thing. The email outreach, the program outreach, is absolutely something you should do. Then the other thing which you have to do, the second tip, is keep working on your profile. The US clinical experience or anything does not end on 29th September, whether it is a US clinical experience, research, home country experience. You have to continue to the work. The match is not ended. The match ends only end of Feb, when the rank order deadline is early March. So anything and everything will count, whether you do it now or you do it in December. Of course, the LORs are already out, so it's not about the LORs. It is about your ability to convince the program that you are clinically current and that you are ready for residency. And that's where gaps are red flags. So you cannot be sitting at home and doing nothing, or just waiting for the interviews. So that's the second thing. The third, rotations obviously are very important. Now, of course, US has opened up and a lot of international travel will open up. So continue to do rotations if you can. These things help. The second or the third thing is step 3. So obviously, assuming you've done your certification, etc., step 3 always helps at this point. So the more you can work towards the step 3, the earlier you can take step 3. That will also help you. Step 3 has multiple usage. So of course, for those of you who need visa or H1B, the sooner you take step 3 by December and all, if you match in a H1B program, that'll help you. But also, for those of you who even may not need visa, doing step 3 now earlier in the season will increase your probability of getting interviews in the season. So that's something that you have to be aware of. And the sooner you do it, the more the chances that you will get the interviews. The other thing that you all have to be aware of is networking, professional networking with the programs. So try to attend their open houses, connect with the program on LinkedIn and Instagram. There are a lot of programs are there. So everything that you can do to connect with the program, to demonstrate your interest, um, That matters at this point. And the preparation also matters. So for those of you who already have interviews, or even if you don't have the interviews, start preparing for the interviews, because interviewing can take time, and sometimes you just may have a week or less to prepare for the interviews, and you don't want to be caught off guard by saying, all of a sudden I got an interview and I don't know how to go about it. So you should be well prepared for the interviews. There are the standard set of questions. You can go on our website, you can look up those questions, and you can see there are other things that in terms of the preparation, in terms of preparing with your own groups, in terms of classes that we may hold, and if you're interested you can join that. So interview preparation is the key, because interviews sometimes will not give you enough time, so you have to be already prepared. Once you get the interview, and if you are preparing, you have to be able to know everything about the program, right? So that is something that you really really must prepare. We've had other YouTube videos on the type of questions you should be preparing, on type of information that you should be gathering, why this program, why this specialty, and the standard set of questions. Those things really matter. Those are the things that help you differentiate from other applicants. So remember that the season has just started, it has not ended. An interview comes in phases. This is just the first phase, so don't get panicked. Your turn will come. At this point, it is the recent YOGs, the high scores. Those are the people who are getting interviews, but it is also a fact that people are sitting on 15 plus interviews at this point. So if you don't have those interviews, what you can do, you can continue to improve your profile, whether it is the USCE, whether it is working in the home country, whether it is doing research. So they need to see that you are clinically active. Okay. uh, Now let me take some questions that we have received. The first question was, is it too late to apply to the additional programs? And the answer is no. I mean, you can still apply. The question is, how many programs are going to go back and look at your application now? But I think it is a fair assumption to be able to apply at this point. If you really missed out on certain programs, it is not too late. There are people who will be applying at this point, so you can go ahead and apply. Then the other question we got was, should I email the program if I already got a rejection? This is a tricky one. Most programs, as you know, follow the algorithm. So they may not have seen your profile, they may have filtered you out based on your scores, year of graduation, or something else. And generally, they do not reverse their criteria. However, if you feel that there is a compelling need, or let's say you're local to the program, or maybe you have even worked in the program, or there are some other attributes that you think the program should be aware of and that they may have missed in the filter, you are free to check in with them and make a case for your interview. The chances may be lower, but one off you can always do. However, remember that you will get 100 plus rejections. So the best would be to chase the programs that you have already have a chance and that have not gotten back to you. So if you chase such programs, then it'll be a good idea. Then the other question is, what to do if you get a lot of rejections after you have sent in the interest email. So if you go back and see what I just said, and we said it in the other interview, program outreach is important. Now, what do you do if you are getting rejects as soon as you send those emails? So remember that the intent of the program outreach is for the programs to review your profile. That's the best thing you can have them do. Now, you may not be a fit, or they may have to send you a rejection after 3 months, but you sent an email, they already sent you a rejection. That's all fair. I think it should not stop you from program outreach. Program outreach is a key component, uh, and you should be able to uh, do the program outreach. Yes, you will get the rejections. Some of the other questions that are flowing in, I see one from Aditya. He's asking, is matching in urology possible for an IMG? Yes, it is definitely possible. In fact, a couple of our students have urology interviews at this point. So, what is needed is very, very strong home country experience, surgery or something related, excellent research credentials, and if you have collaborators in the US, that helps. Scores can go either way depending on your research profile and all. But yes, it is possible to match into some of these competitive specialties as well. Let me also send you some blogs here that you may find useful. They're all on our website, and you should be able to look at some of the blogs as you prepare for the interviews. For those of you who are interested in what we do in our live classes, I'm also going to get you some links here so that you can see how are we preparing for the live classes as well. So those were some of the things that the questions that we got. And if you have more questions, I'm happy to answer in terms of what the city season entails, when can you expect the interviews, or any other thing related to the current season. If you have, uh, that's fine. I know there was some technical issues. The other channel or the other stream was not working, so I had to switch the stream here. So I'll wait for those of you who could not join earlier. And if you missed something, I'm happy to repeat. So there's a question that has come in. Can old IMG with CK score above 240 match into a competitive specialty? So Priya, it depends on your relevant experience. Score is one thing. Like I was saying, we have interviews in general surgery, urology, and some of those things. Score is just one criteria. Then what also matters is relevant research, relevant work experience, maybe even a home country residency. So, yes, match is possible for an old IMG with CK score of what you have, uh, but other things also make a difference. Okay. Uh, then there are, some other things that we can go over, but let me take some questions as well. Would taking step 3 early January help me get some interviews? Aisha is asking, and I think the answer is no. Step 3 has, like I mentioned, has 3 uses. So if you take it in early January, by the time the results come out, you're already maybe January end or something. And by that time, very few interviews are left, very few interview spots are left. So the chances of getting cancellation interviews are less. But in that case, step 3 will still help you get the H1B visa if you need visa, and if you match into that program. If you need step 3 to increase the interview count, the sooner you do it, the better. Now, of course, it does matter, even in January when you take step 3. Why this will matter is because if you have already interviewed at a program, then probably once you take step 3, the number or the rank order list can improve. So wherever you have interviewed, those programs can put you higher on the rank order list if you have step 3. So yes, in those things it will help. Do we need to do US based research, or Indian research work is also considered? So no research is useless. Prefer US based research. but it does not mean that research work done outside US and India and all is not useful. In fact, we are going to be starting our next research course by next week. So keep an eye out on our website. It's there, and you can enroll if you're looking for research opportunities, US based with publications. Kodali is asking, where can we get a list of colleges that are participating in SOAP? So, so if you are going to talk about SOAP happens after the match results are out on the Monday of the match week, and every year the list changes depending on which program has unfilled spots. So, one, the list is available only after March, the match day, and second, the list is only sent out to the applicants who have not matched or who have partially matched. So, when you say where is the list available, you probably are talking about the list from the previous season, the season 2021. And that list should be available after the SOAP ends. There are a lot of lists floating around on our Facebook group. So, but of course, for the next season, you will see that list only after the match day, the Monday of the match day. Probably you are looking at the SOAP list to see which programs to focus on and which programs did not fill. Uh, Fidelis is asking, can an IMG with 204 on step 1, 216 on CK match in family medicine? Yes. So family medicine, and you can look up some other videos on our website, is very lenient on scores, but they do need your passion around preventive care, women's health, those kind of primary care, those kind of situations, those kind of experiences really help. MPH really helps. And family medicine does not like to do visa, although we've had students last year who've matched. Every year they match needing visa, low scores, older graduates. So that is possible. Best way to write the letter of interest. So I don't know what you mean the best way. We've done some videos and we teach that in the class. The letter of interest, the best is customized. So it's always the customized letters that help. Personalized. So why are you interested in the program? Number one, and what skills and experiences do you bring that will be useful to the program as you start with them. So focus on these two things: why that program and what skills do you bring. How many days after step exam scores are announced? You can check up the website. I don't have it handy. Then there's a question: does it make sense to research programs from now applying next year? If so, how should we know more about the program apart from statistical data on FRIDA and Residency Explorer? So that's a good question if you're applying next year. I think what you can do, and this is something that our students have access to. So we have a database where we combine FRIDA, Residency Explorer, our own experience. We can see what specific profiles got the interview. So what was our student step 1 score, CK score, step 3, another profile. So in the end, you should start researching the programs, to see if there are rotation opportunities. So rotation opportunities do help, uh, and then it may give you some information about profile. But at this point, if you're applying next year, your research should be focused on the programs that provide rotations, either externships or electives. That will help you. And of course, if you join Sarthi for next season, you will have access to more information and the profile of the applicants that match there. Is it better to do MS surgery in India before applying to US for surgery, or can we apply directly? So we have several students who have done both. If you have home country residency, obviously you can apply. But I think the question you have is, should I take 4 years or 3 years just to do surgery before I apply? Uh, that is a lot of commitment of time. So what we tell students is, if you are interested in surgery and you don't have home country residency, then you should probably be looking at US research experience, some USCE, and go through the prelim route, do a preliminary year, then apply to categorical. In fact, there are some YouTube videos on our website where we have students who have done home country residency, done straight research, and matched into categorical. So that's something that those students have done. If you do not have home country residency, then you can probably try for the preliminary with a lot of uh, experience in home country, USCE, or even if you are a recent graduate with some experience and research, the preliminary route may work out for you. So those were the questions as I see them on the chat. And if there are more questions, okay. Next questions. Have on-site rotations started opening? Yes, they have. In fact, we are building a complete list, which will be part of our next video. So we'll tell you which rotations are already starting. And if you're interested, of course, you should apply. And if the rotations have not started, the other option is, we have a lot of rotations on our website also. These are in affiliated clinics. We do have some directly in the hospital setting. So I'm just putting the link down there. You can look up our rotations. They are all on university letterheads, all extensive hands-on experience. So if you are interested, you can look up these rotations. Next question, with step one being pass fail or from January, which is right, January 26, will the way of selection change? Yes, I think programs will take time to figure it out, just as with applicants. So initially, of course, you will see a mix of both. Students having taken step one, students taking it pass fail, especially IMGs. So the next season will see a mix of both. Who will benefit? So if you have a high score on step one, absolutely you will benefit. 240 plus, 250 plus, and others have a pass. So you will definitely benefit. How things will change? If you are just on the pass side of step one, then there will be other attributes the programs will look for. Definitely, the CK score, maybe even the step three score, your experiences, your rotations, your letters, all those things will become more important. So step one pass fail is going to be a reality. It will happen very soon. And if you are already at a high score in step one, you will definitely have an advantage, at least for the next 2 years, when there is a mix of both step one and pass fail. Otherwise, of course, the CK, the step three, the USCE, and the home country experiences, all that will matter, along with, say, the volunteering experience that many of you have. So, good question. Okay. For those of you who are getting into the match this season and interested in the interview preparation, of course, you can check out our interview prep plans that are open. Only interview prep is open at this point. So I've just posted a link if you guys are interested. And if there are other questions, let me know. Here for a few more minutes, as I wait for the questions, because we did get a lot on Facebook, so I thought we'll answer those. And if you have questions, feel free to type in, and we'll take it from there. But the point again I want to make for those of you who are applying this season, too early to panic. Don't worry about it yet. Second, program outreach is important. It's Always keep up with it. Third, interviews always come in waves or phases. So we are right now in the first phase. You will see more interviews. In the last, of course, keep working, keep working on your US clinical experience, improve the profile, and step three, if you could, all these things do matter. Should we need to apply for residency interview after taking USMLE exams? So Sheikh is asking. So probably you're not clear on the process. So how this works is interviews are the last step. You don't apply for them. You get invited. You apply to the program. So after you take the USMLE exams, uh, we have a complete video, in fact, on USMLE from scratch to match. So after you take the exam, you do something called My Eras, where you fill in your CV, your personal statement, experiences, and then you apply to the programs. The programs invite you for the interviews. How long does step three prep take on average? I think it depends on the students. Some students have done it in 1.5 months also. It depends on whether you do it full time or you do it, along with other things. In terms of scores, 220, I've seen a 260, some of our students, so the higher score always helps. Step three is, it's like I said, helpful in your or match as well. All right. Any other questions that you may have for this match, for rotations, or anything else? We will, by the way, have a webinar on rotations, on step one, and some of the other things that many of you have asked us to do. So, if you are going into the match next year or the year after, we will talk all about applying to electives, applying for rotations, strategies around these exams, and so on. So, starting next week, we'll have a series of live webinars, but we wanted to focus this one just on the interview preparation and this season. Please give an update on ECFMG accreditation of 2024 other than the previous video. So we'll probably cover this in the webinar. That's a big issue. We've already covered it in the sense that as long as you register now, you don't have to wait for 2024. If you register now, you should all be good to go. Is US observership in a clinic significant? So we have other videos, but let me tell you how this works. So focus on electives first, if you can do electives, and if you are already a student. Electives at top places matter, so that's one. Second, in order of hierarchy, go for hands-on externships, uh, in hospitals. So we have a lot of those, so that's that. Third, externships in affiliated clinics. So that is very significant. Also, you will get university or program letterhead, LOR. Uh, Observership in a clinic, not so much, right? Something is still better than nothing. So I won't say that it is completely useless, but observership in a clinic doesn't really cut it. If you are in a clinic, you have to go into an affiliated clinic. Like we have a lot of affiliated clinics as part of our rotations, and also you should be able to do hands-on. You should have the management of the patient, be able to do history, physical, present cases to the attendings, and so on. Okay. Any other question that you may have? Are we allowed hands-on B1, B2? See, the programs or most of the clinics don't really ask you about your visa. It's a fact that many students do hands-on B1, B2. There is no other option if you are already a graduate and you are here on a visitor visa. There is no separate visa for just the rotations. But you got to check the program policy. Okay. Any other questions that I missed before we wrap up? So you can type in there. Otherwise, we'll obviously be around. We can ask or we can answer questions. For those of you who have been asking, we run a Telegram group as well. So the Telegram group, let me see if I can post the link to the Telegram group. So Telegram group we have for both step one and CK. So that you can join. So that's the Telegram group. And if you have other questions, you can let us know, but we can post it in YouTube as well. Is an IMG with green card considered a US IMG? So US non-US IMG is primarily for NRMP. The program just cares about your do you need visa or do you not need visa. So in your case, you don't need visa. Technically, US IMGs are those who have done their medical school outside US, but when they started, they did not need visa. So that's just a technicality. You don't have to worry about it. When you apply to the programs, you can tell them that you don't need visa. Okay. All right. That was all that I had. Good luck for your season. Good luck for your interview preparation. And let us know if you need any help in rotations, research, or interview prep. Thank you and have a good rest of your day.